Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we are celebrating two years of Xbox Series X and S. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I bet you guys thought you were going to slide all the way through today without me making a video about the Xbox. Well, I planned to make this earlier, but I was busy. I had to go do some stuff. As you can see, I got a haircut for the occasion, everything, so that we could talk about this and review the last 2 years of Xbox Series X and Series S. And yes, if you've been to this channel for a while, you know I have both. You know I cover the games on both. So we're going to get into this. 2 years ago, November 10th, I got my Xbox Series X. I ordered it direct from Microsoft. Showed up at my door. I jumped on and started playing games. First game I played on it was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yeah, you heard that right. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, some Watch Dogs. Had a lot of Ubisoft games because we just got a bunch that just came out. I mean, Valhalla literally came out at midnight the night before, so I was playing it on my Xbox One X, and then I waited for it to download, and that was the first game I jumped into. I jumped into some Black Desert Online. So many amazing memories out of the gate. Out of the gate with the Xbox Series X. It was so phenomenal. It was so good. It just was. To go from the night before playing Assassin's Creed at 30 frames a second to 60 frames a second, that was mind-blowing to me. I'd never bought a PC or gamed on anything that would give me higher frame rate than that. So being able to play an open-world game at 60 frames a second and to be able to see the fidelity of the visuals and just so much more vegetation and everything, that literally blew my mind. I was sold. I was happy. And then when you fast forward that, it's just been, okay. I had my Xbox Series X for about 5 months before I started this YouTube channel. And the games that I had played on there, like Outriders, everything up, all my racing games running at 60 frames a second, looking really good. I was so set on the 4K, and I was just so happy that I just wanted to celebrate, amazing things like Game Pass and just how far Game Pass has come over the last couple of years. Just the last 2 years, I feel like Game Pass has grown exponentially better than it had in the 3 years previous to that. I played a few games on Game Pass before that, but the last couple of years have really taken Game Pass to new heights and brought more attention and more awareness to the Xbox brand. And, the other day you hear Phil Spencer talking about how, the subscriptions to Game Pass, on console have started to slow down. And I'm like, why? Why would people quit paying for a subscription for a service as good as Game Pass? And I know the answer for that. There's a lot of people out there right now, that are just so, I don't know if entitled's the word for it, but they're just so dead set on like having these AAA bangers like all the time. And, a lot of that comes from the other side and them just pushing down on you all the time, as an Xbox fan, trying to make you feel bad. And I get this question a lot. Where's the games on Xbox that look as good as God of War? And I'm like, where are the games on PlayStation that play as good as Halo? Or where are the games that play as good as Forza Horizon 5? Where are the games that play as good as Gears of War 6? Because up until this generation, PlayStation games had 30 frames a second. That was it. You played your story games at 30 frames a second with your pretty visuals, and that's what you did. Well, then Xbox Series X comes out, and now you're playing games that you've never played before at 60 frames a second with it looking good on your 4K screen still, and you're like, whoa, you're scratching your head, and you're wondering, do they look like pristine like a God of War game? Not necessarily, but they're still running at like 60 frames a second, and they're bigger open environments. I look at Gears 5. Okay, you take Gears 5 and you put that next to God of War Ragnarok that just came out, and you look at those, and man, those look pretty close. Like they're good enough to where you're like, wow, man. And I just scratch my head when I hear these ignorant people talking about Xbox games not being good. Like, I understand why you guys are Xbox fans. Like, I get it. It makes sense to me. You buy a Halo Infinite game, you're playing that game for 3-4 years. On the Sony side, it's not like that. They buy a game and they're playing it for a weekend. You know, maybe a little more. I mean, some games, there's. I'm not saying all of them. There's some out there, you know, that you know, like PlayStation guys that they'll play through the games and they'll keep them and they'll respect them and they'll love and they'll play them. But man, as a PlayStation gamer, I feel like you literally just become a consumer. You're like, oh, you got to turn out the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and. You know, and that's because of the way the PlayStation games are designed. They are single player, story driven experiences with no multiplayer and no real functionality after that. I mean, they're essentially still being like Super Nintendo games and stuff, like Mario. You get to World 8 and you start over and you do it again. and that's the way they are, and that's fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. A lot of people do appreciate that and buy that and they love it. But when I came to Xbox in 2016, I came for Forza Horizon. I came for Forza Horizon 3, Blizzard Mountain. I was like, dude, I love racing games, dude. I'm going to play that. I went and I bought an Xbox One S and that game just so I could play that. And it came with Gears 4 and all the other Gears games. And then I was like, yeah, you know what, man? I'm going to buy For Honor on this too. So I bought For Honor on the Xbox. I bought Steep on the Xbox. I bought Ghost Recon Wildlands on the Xbox. So I bought some of those games that I would play. You know, on the PlayStation. I had Horizon Zero Dawn. I had, you know, all the PlayStation games that were out around that time. I had like gosh, what was it? I had my my Wolfenstein 2 on the PlayStation. I had Mafia 3. I had all these games, you know, Skyrim, the remake, the remaster. So I had all these games on both consoles, and I was like, all right, cool. You know, I had like Final Fantasy on the PlayStation. I had Final Fantasy 15 on the PlayStation. I had all this, and you know, 2016 was such a good year for games. That was, I would say, 2016 was the year before the big bang with the games. Like everything just started blowing up, you know, like everything just started getting a lot more high quality on the PlayStation side, you know, with their first party games. They just started going, started getting a lot, you know, a lot more intense. You know, we started getting better stuff, you know, on the Xbox. You know, the Xbox One X came out the next year. We just started getting all these. Actually, I think Wolfenstein 2 came out in 2017. But I think Mafia did too. Whatever. I started buying both of them. I started buying both copies on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. So I think maybe that was a year later. I think through 2016, I just went with like, you know, like For Honor, Steep, you know, the Assassin's Creed, you know, that came out. Did we get an Assassin's Creed that year? I don't think we did. No, did we? No, it was 2015. Okay. But here's the thing, man. Like, once I went to Xbox and I started playing games and I started, you know, accepting both and started, you know, playing as both of them as my platform, I was like, wow, dude, these are freaking incredible. I started finding that inner gamer that was there when I was younger. And then I started getting, I was getting so heavily into that whole casual, you know, that casual mindset that we all get to when we get a little bit older as gamers. You know, and it's not like we want to be casual gamers. It's just like we don't have another choice. Like we have our responsibilities, we have our families, we have our careers, we have all of that stuff. And I mean, we might get a sneak in a little bit of gameplay on the weekend. We might get a play for a couple days, you know, or something. It gets to a point where you not. I mean, like, pretty much you become a casual gamer because you don't really have any option other than that, just to try to get your time in. So I got really bad into this. This cycle where I would buy like the PlayStation games and then I would play through them on the weekend. You know, I think me and Mama got in a fight. Me and my wife got in a fight on Thanksgiving. What was it, 2019, when Death Stranding came out? Because I literally took my 4-day weekend and just played that game for 4 days straight. Like, I literally played for 4 days straight on just that one game, and it was pretty tough. But you know, then you get like the Xbox and the you know, just the games that come out with that and how they. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Mama opened the door. Now I gotta remember because I don't want to stop this video because I already said a lot. But I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought. Essentially, Xbox has changed the way I game more than the PlayStation has in the 27 years I've been a PlayStation fan. In just this last 6 years with an Xbox, I have been able to play more games on Game Pass, games that I probably never would have thought about getting. I've been able to buy a monitor, for the Xbox Series S to be able to test that and see how that works. And that right there was life changing. I bought, the OLED TV and stuff. And like, that's amazing on the Xbox as well. But there's just so many more things that, even I'm into PC gaming now. And when I buy an Xbox game, I get a free copy of any Xbox first party on my PC. So I'm like, wow, dude, this is incredible. This is such an inclusive ecosystem that, like, hey man, like say 2020, you started with the Xbox Series S. 2023, you're like, man, I need a little bit more power. So you go out and you buy an Xbox Series X. You get halfway through the generation and you're like, oh man, I wish that this, I could play this on 4K or something. And then you're like, you know what, man, this is the generation that I'm going to move over to PC. So you don't discard your Xbox Series X. No, you put it in the front room. But you buy your PC, but you still have all your games, all your stuff, and it all moves forward, and it's seamless. It's as seamless as playing your Series S and then going to your Series X. It's that seamless to play the Xbox or the PC as well. So now it's just an evolving ecosystem to where now you can min-max all the power you want to play your favorite Xbox games. And that, to tell you the truth, as much money as Xbox ecosystem has saved me in the last 6 years, that's incredible. I love the value that Xbox brings. Are their games as high quality as PlayStation? They're pretty decent. They're pretty good. They last a long time. You can play Halo. You can play. I mean, if you're coming from a PlayStation, yeah, you're not going to find a whole lot of the over-the-shoulder story-driven games like PlayStation's got. I mean, you're going to find your third-party ones, like a Plague Tale Innocence, Requiem. That game is incredible. You're going to find that stuff. Yeah, it's going to be mostly third-party, so you're not going to get the PlayStation seal of approval or whatever. But you know what, man? After playing Xbox pretty much exclusively for the last 6 years and only buying the exclusives on my PlayStation, it's not a bad place to be. It's not a bad place to be. When I listen to everybody in the comment section, the rabid fanboys, when they come to the comment section and they're like, hey, yeah, you PlayStation, where's there anything on Xbox that looks as good as this? I'm just like, wow, dude, do you guys even hear yourself, man? You're going to be done with that game in 3 days. They're going to be playing another year of Halo with the update that just came out. Like another literal freaking year of Halo, like getting on there with their friends every day playing Halo or Forza Horizon 5 for a whole nother year. They're going to be doing that while you are waiting on Twitter for your next big AAA banger. And that's where you'll be because everything else is mid and trash and you don't play that. And the rabid fanboys, just ignore them, guys. There's a lot more of us gamers out there than there is these rabid fanboys. And yes, it is easy to kind of get, suckered into it and, maybe start feeling like, oh man, what's your Xbox doing? But let's rate the Xbox year too. Let's rate Xbox this year, 2022. While it didn't have a whole lot of heavy AAA bangers, from Xbox first party, it did deliver a compelling experience for Game Pass over the year. Throughout this year, we have had more than enough content to play on Xbox for a pretty fair price. For the price of 2 AAA Sony banger games, you've had hundreds of games to play all year. Like, you haven't went without any games. They haven't been the ones you wanted to play, but let me let you in on a little secret. You're going to get to play those games next year, the year after that. Like, you're going to still be able to get them for the same price that you've been paying for them for Game Pass. Like, you haven't lost anything. You've only gained more experiences throughout this last year that you might not have played if you had something else. Does it suck that Xbox doesn't have any games coming out this year? Yeah, of course it does, man. Of course it hurts your ego or your pride or your sense of like, oh man, I bought this and I want to see what it can do. Well, I've been playing God of War Ragnarok, and it is basically a PlayStation 4 game that looks better. It looks better. Like, it looks better, and it performs a little better. So it doesn't really matter. PlayStation isn't putting out any AAA next gen bangers either. They're putting out the rest of their PlayStation 4 games. Xbox had already, had Horizon and Halo in the works to get them out. They're out. They're getting new updates over the last couple of days. And then 2023, you're going to start getting your Xbox Series X and S exclusive games. Like, you're going to, like, starting next year. I don't know if it was smart of them to do that. I don't know if it was smart of them to just hold everything back for 2023, just mass launch or whatever, because that can get overwhelming. But at the same time, if they line it up right to where they can bang out games all next year, and then the next year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, like, whatever, more power to them, man. If that's the precedent they want to set in 2023, they're gonna have to keep that throughout the rest of the generation and forward. They can't come out and drop, 6, 7, 8 bangers next year and then expect and then not do that the year after, because once you've got the taste for that's the money, that's the value you're getting for your money, it's a little bit harder. That's why this year has been a pretty decent baseline. I wouldn't expect it to go anything under this, but yeah, going forward, man, I would expect them to keep that baseline. Whatever they're going to put out next year, they need to be able to keep that going. Me personally, like one AAA every 2 months or every quarter, whatever, that sounds good. That's a realistic goal to be able to hit. And I think PlayStation should be able to do the same, hitting one AAA exclusive every quarter. I mean, well, with PlayStation, the way their games are, they should probably kick them one out every freaking month. But I don't know, man. I don't know. This last 2 years has been definitely a surprise for gaming, for console gamers, for all of us. It has. We've been able to enjoy experiences that we were already getting, already loving, and already playing. We've seen them be able to be pushed even harder and deliver better performance, better visuals, and different modes, more features like ray tracing and direct, like FSR and stuff like that. We got our first title with Cyberpunk. So the technology's there. It's getting baked into our games that are coming up. We made it through year 2, man. Let's hope that starting now and going forward, that the Xbox will deliver on those promises, that Game Pass promise, because it seems like they're more interested in doing the Game Pass thing, and I'm on board with that. I am. So I want to see how they can fulfill that, and I want to see what the value proposition for that's going to be going forward. I'm excited for 2023 for Xbox. I'm definitely excited. So I hope you guys are excited too, man. This marks the 2-year anniversary for the Xbox Series X and S. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the Xbox Series S. It has more than lived up to the expectations I had for it on a 1440p monitor. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what these are going to have next year and forward. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Heck yeah, 2023 Xbox, baby.